Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Friday, May 5th, and we are covering tonight's NBA playoff games right now with Troy West from TroyWins.com. Troy West, thanks for being back with us. Two interesting games, Cleveland and Toronto. Let's just start with that one. Obviously, first two games went way over. Cavs absolutely rolled. Last year, though, same thing happened. Cleveland absolutely rolled the rolled the Raptors up in the first two games at Cleveland, and then when the series moved to Toronto, Toronto won both games outright, both as a 6-point home underdog. So there is some precedence for a radical, for expecting a radical shift in momentum in this series. When it moved, now that it's moved to Toronto for Game 3, Toronto's getting 4.5 points right now. What do you think? We expect the same thing as last year?
Boy, this series does have me fooled, Pete. But, watching those first two games was just utter domination, without a doubt. You got a guy like DeMar DeRozan who's offering out $100 for anybody that can guard LeBron James, for God's sake. Where does that show you where the confidence is of the Toronto Raptors? It shows me that they don't have an answer to stop the Cleveland Cavaliers. My only worry would be is if Cleveland has that little bit of a hiccup going onto the road and maybe they don't bring their A game. But my God, this seems like not enough points at all here, Pete. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are in for another shellacking of the Toronto Raptors. I think you're looking at another score of like a 115-104 type of basketball game, but just not enough points. I mean, my God, Toronto could not hang at all. Cleveland looks extremely energetic. LeBron looks absolutely unstoppable. How do you not go with Cleveland right now after what you saw in the first two games? And I'm trying not to overreact because, like you said, last year, very similar thing happened. But this Toronto team, I don't think is near as good. They seem like they have nothing in the tank right now. I like the Cavs.
Yeah, and I mean, last year, of course, it was a relatively low-scoring series. The totals were all in the 190s, so maybe that's it's harder to stop an offensive juggernaut like the Cavs when it goes on the road. So you could make that argument maybe. And then also Kyle Lowry also had a sprained ankle in his last game, so maybe he'll be hobbled here. I don't know. You're going to take Cleveland minus the points. The Greek actually does have -4, -115, so we can credit you with that one. You want Cleveland -4?
Yeah, I think that's the safe play here. If you're going to bet anything, I sure as heck wouldn't feel comfortable with my money on the Raptors the way that they looked. And their just whole demeanor, the whole team itself. Lowry playing a little bit better, but DeRozan, the way he came out, they just seem shot. They're down 2-0. They're in a hole. I don't know. I just kind of see this team throwing the towel, and Cleveland has got their number right now. I'm going to go with the Cavs. I think the Cavs are motivated to sweep this series, continue to rest. They're the type of team that enjoys longer rest. I don't think they want this series to go deep. They control what they want to do. I think they're going to want to get a double-digit win here and move on to Game 4.
It is also tempting for me to take a shot with overs here. The first half over, the full game over, and the Cleveland team total over. Again, last year it was a different series as far as pace and final scores are concerned. Maybe I'll add that to my official record before this call is over. But let's move on to the Spurs and Houston series, Game 3, and this is obviously a very different situation. Houston absolutely unexpectedly dominated the Spurs in Game 1. And then, everyone was thinking if any team could make adjustments, it would be the Spurs, and they certainly did. They got a blowout win in Game 2. So now it moves back to Houston, and my partner Mike Brenner, who has a particularly good read on the NBA playoffs every year, says he loves Houston here at -2.5. So we'll throw that one on his official record. Houston first half -2.5, -105, and that's the way I would lean as well. James Harden has had sort of a very subpar series so far, and particularly so in Game 2. I could see him coming out here in his first game at home and exploding here. I would be leaning at Houston as well, similar to what we saw with Washington yesterday in their first home game. What's your take on Game 3 in Spurs-Houston?
Yeah, it doesn't, without a doubt, seem like the right bet. It'll be interesting to see how the Spurs respond with Tony Parker going out, but I do think Patty Mills is actually the more capable player here of the two. He's a lot more athletic than Tony Parker is, so I don't necessarily see that as a huge loss for the San Antonio Spurs other than the fact of his veteran presence. But, Pete, this one's got me a little bit puzzled. You saw a blowout in Game 1, a blowout in Game 2. I do think the Spurs are the better team. They're the more balanced team. They know how to win on the road. I was actually leaning for the game, taking the Spurs and the points in this one. This is a very good veteran team. They're big. I think they had their hiccup in Game 1. Popovich is going to outcoach D'Antoni in this one, no doubt about it. I like the Spurs getting the points. I can maybe see where you're talking in the first half. Houston at home, electrifying atmosphere without a doubt. But San Antonio's got a lot of firepower to hang around. I think Aldridge continues to bounce back. Look for a big game from him. San Antonio's got a lot of weapons offensively, a lot of big, solid, tall guys down low in the post that Houston really can't match up well against. I like the Spurs getting points here in this one.
All right. Well, there are a couple of fives available, so we'll credit you with the Spurs +5 minus 110, and I was leaning over on this one, although it's interesting that the first half total on this one is surprisingly low. It's just 103. Full game is about 213.5 or 214. It has gotten bet down from the opener of 215.5, but I will take the over on this one, over 213.5 minus 106, and so we got three different plays. Mike Brenner is going to take Houston first half minus 2.5. I'm going to take the full game over 213.5 minus 106, and Troy West taking the Spurs +5 minus 110, and Troy also is going to go on Cleveland -4 minus 150. Troy West, thanks for your thoughts on these tough games. Tell us what you do at TroyWins.com.
Hey, thanks a lot, Pete. I appreciate it. Yeah, coming off a real nice sweep yesterday, 3-0. Slipped up a little bit on your guys' NBA plays in the first video with y'all, but come take a look at TroyWins.com. I really encourage people to come take a look. Happy to give you a free trial and show you what we're all about. We're on to an outstanding start in these NBA playoffs. We know we'll finish strong. That's TroyWins.com. I truly believe it's a one-stop shop in this industry.
All right. Thanks, Troy.
Thanks, guys.
Well, this episode of The Odds Couple is over. But if you give us a like and click SBR's logo at the bottom of the screen to subscribe, then you'll get all the upcoming videos as soon as they come out. And don't forget to take advantage of our website. There's free picks, live betting lines, and sportsbook reviews and ratings guides, and a whole lot more. Check it out now.